come to one of my favorite parts.
Here we go.
This we're going to put you on the end of a quiz here, but it's interesting because what I love about the quiz is it really, I think, shows people how much they've learned. You know, when we get to it's almost in one sense a summary, and in another sense an affirmation that you've learned something. I think this quiz in particular almost feels too easy. I think you're going to get every one of them right because, you know, as I was looking at it, it's like everything we're about to quiz you about, we just talked about. So, and even for the audience,
Pressure's on for me.
But I wanted to mention this. We did this same quiz with our staff at Addo. We had a retreat a couple weeks ago. We did, and only one person got one question right. So even if the audience, you know, that's listening gets them all right,
yes,
realize had you not just listened to this podcast, I think there's a 90% chance you get all these wrong before having it. So I think it ought to be affirmation of what you've learned along the way. And I fully expect that you're going to get all these right. But I think maybe the richness will come in the discussion, not just the fact you got it right, but why it's right. And for the audience, if you find yourself getting them all right, realize when we went with a cold audience that had not just heard this podcast, and it's a smart group, only one person got it right. Question right. And it was after they'd seen everybody else fail and they started to realize, oh, I got to pick the most bizarre
answer. Yeah.
So I think it's probably less they knew why. It's more, I know which answer to pick because I'm starting to see a pattern here. So.
This is a lose-lose proposition for me. If I get them all right as expected to, if I get them all wrong.
If you get it wrong, man,
I've got
what's wrong with you.
Bigger problems.
But I do think this will be a good summary of what we've learned, a good affirmation that you have learned something. And again, these aren't the right answers. These are the Buc-ee's.
The Buc-ee's wrong on paper answers. We talked about Buc-ee's wrong on paper. There's a lot of ways to do it. So this is the Buc-ee style.
Buc-ee's mindset. So question number one is the labor cost crisis. Inflation has hit. Your labor costs are skyrocketing. Your CFO recommends keeping starting wages at the market standard, $12 an hour, to protect your bottom line, arguing that unskilled cashier work doesn't justify higher pay. How do you respond? A, agree with the CFO, but offer a small performance bonus to top performers. B, automate 50% of the registers with self-checkout kiosks to reduce headcount. C, set the starting wages at $18 to $20 an hour, double the market rate, and strictly enforce a no-sitting policy. Or D, hire part-time teenagers to lower the blended labor cost.
The Buc-ee's wrong on paper answer is C.
Exactly. So why is that, though? Let's talk about why.
Man, well, I think that they realize that to create the consistent and remarkable experience that guests have come to know and love in their store, it's a massive bet on talent to deliver on that every time. And the realization that they can have a private product label that's differentiated, which is amazing. They can have incredible hot food. They can have the biggest bathrooms in the world. But if there aren't people who are bought into that vision and performing at a high standard, that human touch is going to be missing, which holds all of those things together.
And maybe said, just amplifying or adding to that, I think the Buc-ee's view of it was we're not trying to minimize costs. We're trying to maximize experience.
Yes.
And so that would be the way in which they would think about is what enables us to maximize the experience, not minimize cost. And the spreadsheet sees labor as a cost to be minimized, but Buc-ee's sees labor as the only way to maintain the world's cleanest restrooms. By paying career wages for gig work, you buy compliance, low turnover, and a level of hustle that minimum wage can't replace.
It reminds me of Rory Sutherland tells a story about Will Guidara. And the first time that 11 Madison Park, Will Guidara's restaurant, was on the top 50 restaurants in the world list, they had a desire of like, how do we not just be on the list? How do we become number one? And so they went to the number one restaurant in the world, and the entire team of this restaurant to the number one restaurant in the world. And everybody started anchoring on all of the things that the restaurant did really well and thought about how do we do those things well too. And Will said, no. What are the things that they don't do or they do poorly? And let's focus on those things. Let's reverse benchmark. And I think that, I don't know if it was as intentional as this, but I think Buc-ee's looked at the C-store industry and said, labor is clearly a weak point for all these brands. Let's overinvest in that area.
Yeah.
That we can create the widest divergence of value perception and value creation for our guests by winning in that area.
You know, interesting you would bring Will Guidara up because right now, one of the things that Buc-ee is doing now is he is endowing a hospitality school at Texas A&M. Who would have ever thought would associate with a hospitality
industry
curriculum in school with the convenience store?
store. Yes,
So that's how
it's
different
incredible.
thinking is.
Yeah, they've
So,
taken it that far.
yeah. All right. Next question. The pump efficiency problem. Data shows that even on your busiest days, you rarely have more than 60 cars fueling at once. Your construction manager suggests building 60 pumps to save $2 million in capex rather than the proposed 120 pumps.
So many pumps.
So what would you do? A, build 60 pumps because idle assets are a waste of capital. B, build 80 pumps to have a small safety buffer. C, build 120 pumps to ensure that 50% of them sit empty most of the time. Or D, build 60 pumps, but make them high flow to speed up turnover.
C, more is more. All the pumps.
So you're going to spend all that capex, man?
And I want to watch them sit 50% empty.
Yeah. So I think the Buc-ee's approach is efficiency is not the goal, perceived freedom is. Seeing 60 empty pumps signals to the driver that they will have zero anxiety about waiting.
Hmm.
The empty pumps are not a waste, they're a billboard for convenience. That's the logic of the illogical, kind of, so to speak. All right, next question. The marketing budget. Oh, I love this one.
Here we go.
Your new CMO suggests shifting 80% of your marketing budget to programmatic digital ads and geofencing, which allow for precise targeting of your drivers within 5 miles of your store. He wants to cut the budget for roadside billboards. What's your move? A, approve the shift because digital is more trackable and efficient. B, do a 50-50 split to test both channels. C, spend the entire budget on physical billboards starting 500 miles away from the store. Or D, focus on radio ads to capture drivers.
C, let's sink that whole budget into billboards.
Idiot. Why would you do that?
Well, I think the idea of going deep on an ownable channel, I think you think about billboards are often overlooked when it comes to advertising. And when they are used, I think that as we learn from Buc-ee, there's probably more value to be had from them than most people leverage. And then it goes into the initial guest experience. You're bridging advertising the guest experience by using that form of advertising as an anticipation builder that drives people directly into Buc-ee stores on their trips.
Yeah. What I wrote down on this was that digital ads are efficient, but invisible.
Yep.
Billboards kind of gamify the road trip. That's one of the things I've noticed when we're driving down. We keep seeing the Buc-ee's billboard, and it builds this sense of anticipation, destination. And by dominating the physical landscape for 400 miles, you build pester power in the back seat. The stop becomes the climax of the drive, not just a utility break. I think that's what people are missing when they just think the efficiency of digital. They're missing this bigger picture of the gamification of the drive itself and building this sense of anticipation. Growth strategy. Investors are knocking down your door. They want to franchise your model to open 500 stores in 5 years. This would generate massive royalty fees and zero capital risk to you. What is your answer? A, start franchising immediately to capture market share. B, franchise only in states where you don't currently operate. C, reject all franchising in investors. Grow slowly using only your own cash. Or D, go public and IPO to raise capital for rapid corporate expansion.
We're going to go with C. Slow and steady.
More about that.
I think it's such a bet on the idea of how important the Buc-ee's experience is. And by maintaining full independence and control, like high touch finger feel control of the experience, that's a bet on the long-term growth strategy. Like, sure, you can grow faster, quicker by franchising, but you can grow bigger, longer by having control all the way through.
You know, another principle here is scarcity creates demand. There could
This
be,
is true.
if you had too many of them, it's no longer
You lose
this
some of the desirability.
definition,
Yeah, it's a
desirability.
great
So
point.
there is something about not having so many. But another aspect to it is that franchising dilutes culture.
Yeah.
We've all seen this. I saw that at Chick-fil-A because they're all company-owned stores, and we're able to maintain the culture that's really hard to do through a franchise system. And a franchisee generally is looking to save money, and they may cut corners on things like bathroom cleaning or wages. But to maintain the cult standards, you've got to have 100% control, even if it means growing slower than competitors. And again, I think the upside is scarcity creates demand. So by growing slower, you keep the scarcity out there longer.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about merchandise mix. Your inventory manager wants to delist slow-moving items like deer feeders, cast iron skillets, and beaver-themed pajama pants. He argues that replacing them with high-velocity items like more soda and chips will increase inventory turnover. What do you say? A, delist the slow items. Inventory turnover is king. We all know that in retail. Keep the slow items, but move them to the back of the store. C, keep the slow items. The absurdity of the selection is the point. Or D, replace the merchandise with a high-margin pharmacy section.
We're gonna go C. I think you called it in the episode 2, the adventure of absurdity. I think it's why Buc-ee's wins. It is leaning into pushing beyond the edge of madness.
Yeah. And, you know, for me, part of the Buc-ee's logic is you're creating a treasure hunt. That's the, you're not competing with gas stations. You're competing with boredom.
Yes.
And the fact that you sell a deer feeder next to a brisket sandwich creates a sense of wonder. It's like, what is this place? And if you optimize for turnover, you become just another 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
All right, last one, supply chain. Frito-Lay offer you massive rebates to give them prime shelf space and exclusive distribution rights. Accepting this would add $1 million to your bottom line instantly. What do? A, accept the deal, it's free money. B, accept the deal, but negotiate for higher rebates. C, reject the exclusivity, prioritize your own Beaver branded snacks and drinks. Or D, accept the deal for chips, but not for soda.
I'm gonna say C.
All right, tell me more about that.
I think the Buc-ee's way is different for different sake, and so I think owning control, the private label obviously matters to them, and there's a lot of the reason why people have come to love the brand of Buc-ee's.
Yeah, they're coming for that uniqueness. I had written down, if you sell Lay's, customers can get them anywhere. If you sell Beaver nuggets, they have to come to you.
Yes.
You must own the product to own the customer loyalty.
Yes. It's a Trader Joe's
It's the
strategy.
Trader Joe's showing back up here, even if it means refusing easy money from big brands. So that's it.
That's it.
What a great, I have loved studying Buc-ee's. I was always a Buc-ee's fan, but I'm even more so now. And what a joy this one has been. And, we were talking about earlier, this may be the most wrong on paper of any brand we've studied
I agree.
so far. I mean, it's bizarre. And I really picked up that when we did the quiz with our own staff,
Yes.
which are bright, smart, gifted people. And
It's so counterintuitive. It feels wrong.
Yeah.
The answers feel wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you feel kind of dumb saying the answer that it ends up being.
Yeah.
But again, the results don't lie.
And even though it felt wrong, people who are listening to this podcast are doing right.
Doing right, yes.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to our next version and next edition, which we'll be working on right after
Right after this. Come to you soon.
Yep.
All right, David. Until next time.